The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for attending our Road Safety Week webinar this morning. We're still waiting for a few more attendees to join us, so hopefully they will join us as and when when they will be able to join us. But we'll get started for everybody. So welcome and thank you very much for listening in for this morning's webinar, hopefully to give you some ideas on how to get involved with Road Safety Week. We have a mixture of people joining us today, from long-time supporters of BRAKE and plus some new people that we haven't had the pleasure of working with yet. So I hope whether you've worked with BRAKE for years or whether you're new to us, you'll find this beneficial and we'll get something out of today. Firstly, we'll hear from our speakers. So we've got 4 speakers for this morning. We'll hear from Ellie Pearson from BRAKE, Rob Wilkinson from Cemex, and Nicola Livesley from Balfour Beatty, and Christine Hamilton from Brain Injury Group. We will hear from all 4 speakers, and then we will take any questions at the end once all 4 speakers have spoken. If you want to ask a question at all for any of our speakers, then there's a raise hand icon at the top of your toolbar on the right-hand screen. You can click on this, and once we've heard from all our speakers, we'll be able to unmute you and you'll be able to ask a question. Alternatively, there's a question box as well, where you can type in a question. If you just let us know who the question is for and type your question in, we can put that to the speakers at the end. So like I say, we're here from all the speakers initially, and then we will do question and answers at the end once we've heard from all 4. All of you are currently muted at the moment, so hopefully you're dialed in okay and you'll be able to hear us and can see the screen at the moment. But obviously if you do have a question, we'll be able to unmute you and you'll be able to talk so everybody can hear you. So first of all, we're going to hear from Ellie Pearson from BRAKE, who's going to kickstart things, and then we'll move through presenters. If you bear with us, obviously we've got 4 different presenters today who are located in 4 different offices, which is obviously the benefit of a webinar, but obviously we've got all the technicalities as well. So just bear with us if there is a few seconds delay in between introducing each person, but hopefully everything should go fine. So I will hand you over to Ellie. Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you all very much for joining us today for this webinar. We've got around 90 people with us, which is wonderful. Obviously, it's great news that you're all so interested in getting involved in this year's Road Safety Week. And hopefully today's webinar will give you some inspiration and ideas on how you can take part. Just before we continue, I'd like to say a huge thanks to our Road Safety Week sponsors, which are RSA and Specsavers, and also to the Department for Transport. Without the support of these 3, Road Safety Week wouldn't be possible. Before I talk about Road Safety Week, I'd just like to give a little bit of background on BRAKE more generally. As Dave mentioned, we do have companies with us who've never worked with us before. We're a national road safety charity, founded in 1995, so we're just coming up to our 20-year anniversary. We're mainly UK-based, but as of a couple of years ago, we do also have offices in New Zealand, and we're increasing our global output. BRAKE has 2 main aims. Firstly, to prevent road crashes through education and campaigning, and secondly, to support the victims of road crashes via our helpline and support division. We run educational projects for children, teenagers and at-work drivers, to name just a few, and we campaign all year round on a range of road safety topics. Through our campaigns, we're aiming to engage the general public with our road safety messages, as well as to achieve changes in the laws to make our roads safer and to ensure that the victims of road crashes receive proper support. Road Safety Week is actually one of our longest running and biggest community engagement projects. We've been running Road Safety Week annually for the past 18 years, and it grows year on year and gets bigger and bigger. It's not just companies who can get involved. Road Safety Week is for companies, but also for schools, emergency services, local authorities, youth groups, individuals. The list is pretty much endless. Anyone can take part and make a difference. and actually some of the most exciting Road Safety Week initiatives that we've seen over the past 18 years have been joint efforts between lots of different parties. Road Safety Week has grown year on year since it began, so 7,795 schools, organisations and communities took part in last year's Road Safety Week. And obviously we want this year to be bigger than ever, which is where you come in. We set the theme and we provide you with some ideas for what you can do to get involved and some tools to help you. And then it's up to you from there on in to decide what you want to do and how big you're going to go with your Road Safety Week activities. So that brings us on nicely to this year's Road Safety Week theme, which is Look Out for Each Other. We all use the roads, trucks, cars, motorcyclists, cyclists, pedestrians, horse riders, and probably a few more that I've forgotten to mention as well. Roads are a shared space, and it's up to everyone to be considerate and unselfish, and to be aware that some road users are more vulnerable than others, and we do need to look out for them. Through our media work, we'll be calling on all drivers to protect people on foot and bike by slowing down to 20 in communities, looking twice and taking it slow at junctions and bends, and giving people plenty of room. Obviously, these are key messages that we want to get out during the week, and you can all promote these messages internally to your drivers and in your community as well. We'll also be calling on everyone to put safety first and be considerate to one another, encouraging people on foot and bike to never take chances and to make sure they can be seen. So those are the key messages, but beyond that, it's up to you how you'd like your organisation to get involved. The first thing that you need to do is to visit roadsafetyweek.org.uk and register for your free Road Safety Week Action Pack. This is an e-pack full of tools and resources to help you plan and deliver your Road Safety Week activities. So in there we've got template press releases you can use to get the media involved, tips on how you can do partnership working with other local agencies, so what you can do with the police, the fire service, for example, and also some ideas and tips for running internal activities of the week. Those packs will start to go out in the next couple of weeks, but you can register now, as I say. The next thing that you can do is you can buy one of our giant Road Safety Week banners, or you can buy several of our giant Road Safety Week banners. The banners are a great way to promote Road Safety Week and also to promote your involvement in the week and support of Brake. You can display them in your workplace, or we can source locations out in the community for you to display those banners, and we can brand them with your company logos. So as I say, just a great awareness raising tool for both your organisation and Road Safety Week. You can see a flyer on screen now which has got some more information about the banners, and contact details for my colleague Mike if you would like to place an order or have any questions. Another thing that you could do is use Road Safety Week as an opportunity to run some internal training with your drivers, to engage them with the issues of cyclists and pedestrian safety. You could do something like run a Drive Safe roadshow for your employees, customers and supply chains. Again, you can get local emergency services involved in those days and turn it into a really big event. You could attend our pledge webinar next week, which is free. And then that will give you some ideas on how to run a pledge training day for all your drivers, again sharing key road safety messages with them. If you want to do something more invisible, why not go out and do something in your local community? For instance, you could take a truck into a local primary school and promote road safety to the children there. You could book one of our internal Too Young to Die training sessions for your staff. So Too Young to Die is basically a train the trainer course where we can come out and deliver on-site internal training to you and your colleagues. That will enable them to go out and deliver road safety training in the local community with young people aged 11 to 25 to really get young people on board with these road safety messages. This has proved quite popular with companies at previous Road Safety Weeks, so we've had a lot of organisations who've done this and really been able to go out and work with youngsters and also got good media coverage off the back of it. You can use Road Safety Week as an opportunity to run a fundraiser for Brake. Doing that helps us to continue our vital work, and you can do anything from some sort of sponsored cycle or run to running a bake sale or a coffee morning in your office, or running a Brake Bright Day, which you can see on your screen now. These are all great ways to take part in the week and to raise money and awareness for breaking our cause. Obviously, the list of things that you can do goes on and on and on. This is just a few ideas for you. Brain Injury Group and Balfour Beatty are going to talk in a little bit about their previous Road Safety Week activities and also what they have planned for this year. Hopefully that should give you some ideas and inspiration for different things you could do to get involved. Before that, I'm going to tell you why you should get involved in case you still need some persuasion. First of all, it's really, really easy to take part. It doesn't matter what your organisation does, how many employees you have, what budget you have for getting involved. You can do anything on any scale, as I say, from a coffee morning to running events nationwide with your drivers. It's really up to you what level of involvement you want to have and what you want to do with the week. Feedback from previous Road Safety Week and companies that have got involved is that people have found Road Safety Week a really, really great tool for engaging colleagues and managers with road safety. So lots of companies get involved in Road Safety Week and use that as a springboard to kickstart their own road safety programs and get some initial involvement and excitement within their company. Similarly, we've had a lot of feedback that people find it really useful as a tool for getting some positive coverage for their organisation. So it's a really great way to go out into your community and show your community and also your customers and your employees that you do care about your safety and you're keen to put something back. The most important reason for getting involved in Road Safety Week is there are still 5 deaths and more than 60 serious injuries on UK roads every day. And we all need to continue to work together to make our roads safer until we reduce those numbers down to 0. So as I mentioned, you are going to hear from Balfour Beatty and Brain Injury Group about their Road Safety Week activities, but before that, Cemex are going to talk. They're going to tell you a little bit more about the importance of this year's theme. So for those of you who'd like to use Road Safety Week as an opportunity to really engage your drivers, colleagues and managers with the importance of protecting cyclists and pedestrians, Cemex are going to talk about what they've done within their fleet to make sure that they're always looking out for cyclists and pedestrians.
Hi, thank you very much for that, Ellie. So as Ellie said, we will now hear from Rob Wilkinson, who is at Cemex. So hopefully it's all over to yourself, Rob.
Excellent. Thank you, Dave and Ellie. Just testing. Dave, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's fine. So if you can start your presentation.
Right.
And over to you. Thanks very much, Rob.
Excellent. Hi, good morning, everybody. My name's Rob Wilkinson. I'm the Regional Logistics Manager for Southern Aggregate Tippers own fleet, and I've got the safety responsibility for contract hauliers in my area. Just to give you a bit of background about Cemex, we run approximately 460 ready-mix mixer vehicles, which are independent contract hauliers, pushing 200 aggregate tippers nationally, and almost 100 cement tankers. And this operation is supported by third-party contractors also. And just to give you a scale of that, we generally travel over 100 million kilometres a year between all those different parts of the organisation. So why are we so keen to be involved in Road Safety Week? The benefits that we've felt historically, it's helped us to import. We found it's very helpful to promote important internal safety initiatives and messages to our internal organisation. We're a large organisation that has many different parts of it, from the extraction of aggregate, etc. But this particular week helps us to focus on our road safety and transport safety initiatives. It's now formed part of our National Health and Safety Plan, and we also use the week to help User Week to help share best practice amongst the wider audience, amongst our communities and stakeholders, and it gives us an opportunity to train and refresh our drivers with important training elements. And hopefully all these types of activity will help improve our safety culture within our business and reduce incidents. Cemex cycle safety. We've been very keen, and it's been part of our culture, to look out for each other, and we've believed in this for some time. I'll just give you a bit of background to our organisation and how cycling safety has become so important to us culturally as an organisation. I'll just give you a bit of a timeline here. In the year 2000, sadly, one of our ready-mix vehicles was involved in a cycle fatality, and the tragic outcome of this incident was the death of a daughter, Cynthia Barlow's daughter, who set up Road Peace. She was a very brave lady who bought shares within our company at the time, which was Ready-Mix. And she attended a shareholders meeting, and she got up at the end there, and she challenged our board of directors as what we were going to do about cycling safety. And I'm proud to say that the board of directors, way back in 2000, invited her to join our health and safety department, and from that point on we looked at means of improving technology on our fleet and better training for our drivers. And from 2000 we developed some cycling DVDs. We started putting cycling signs on our fleet in London. We looked at the visibility our drivers had around the fleet, and we put blind spot mirrors, classics mirrors as they are known. We retrofitted them to vehicles that didn't have them. We helped to produce side scan technology, which would provide an audible alert to the driver if anything, any objects came in close proximity to his vehicle. We also looked at improving tipper side guard fitments to up to fleet that didn't have it, and then we started to progress into more modern technology of cameras and mirrors, and in fact we worked with Loughborough University, because we do like the approach where we look at a more empirical review of technology to make sure that it can work. And working with Loughborough University, they were able to develop a specialist mirror, a curbside mirror that fits at the top of the passenger door, which significantly increased the visibility given to the driver, which was relatively low cost, and increased his and her, the driver's visibility. So in terms of things that we can do, cheap and low cost opportunities are to fit a near side cyclist warning sign. It helps us look out for each other. It provides a warning to a cyclist, a reminder to a cyclist of the dangers, the potential dangers of passing along the inside of a vehicle. And likewise, if all years, as an industry, we're trying to achieve the target of having all vehicles that don't have class 6 mirrors, or we call them fisheye mirrors or frog eye mirrors, the ones at the front corner. Any vehicle that was produced before 2007 won't have that extended mirror arm there, which provides a greater, wider visibility of the blind spot of that near side corner. And we'd welcome organisations that might not have them fitted to have those and cycling signs fitted. And what a better way than using the Cyclist Week to promote that type of technology or that type of approach. But it's not all about driver training, vehicle technology. A lot of it's to do with driver training, and we need to not just invest in technology, but to train and educate our drivers. Sharing our road space is becoming the mantra of our drivers. It's not a conflict out there on the roads, our drivers appreciate now that it's about sharing the road space with all of the vulnerable road users. And we've developed DVDs, toolbox talks, driving assessments, specifically aimed at improving our culture and sharing that road space. We've also, as an industry, we're working closely with the Mineral Products Association in the construction sector. Obviously, it's been highlighted that a number of incidents, particularly in London, tend to involve construction vehicles, and it's a much greater risk of a cyclist in a construction vehicle coming into conflict in London. So we have developed training which is given as a standard across our industry now, which is the driver skills card, which gives 7 hours specific training, general training, but that's evolved to a second 7 hours driver training course which contributes towards your driver CPC, which is purely dedicated towards vulnerable road users, and that's something all our drivers must have now. So as well as technology, it's all about training. But it's not just own fleet drivers. Within our organisation, we're very dependent on other stakeholders, in particular third-party contractors. And we have evolved an annual event, a number of annual events where we invite contract haulier owners and leaders, and we try to share best practice, share incidents, and other messages with the leaders and the owners of these organisations, so that they can take them back to their drivers to set their own policies aimed at improving cycling safety to the wider audience. And one of the successes recently, and I'm proud to say that one of our large hauliers on the south coast, TJ's Transport, initiated his own Exchange in Places programme in Portsmouth, where they're situated. They contacted the police, they contacted the council, they contacted cyclist groups, and they had a very positive day. And once again, it's great to see third parties embracing leadership and hopefully creating a better opportunity to share the roads together. Other health and safety initiatives that we have done historically, we like to share best practice at a number of events and industry forums, including this. We've been invited to the European Union, which obviously sets a lot of our legislation, whether it's driver's hours, vehicle legislation, technical, and we can start to highlight what best practice is to improve vulnerable road user. We've often supported political party conferences to make all the main parties aware of what we're trying to do, and we've worked with the FTA and the MPA and the police. That's a number of events in council. And we like to provide fleet and vehicle support for Exchange in Places programs with the Met Police, where we support functions whereby the police get cyclists involved and get them sat in vehicles. We like to hand out our DVD and literatures that we've produced over the years. And we're also now moving towards a scheme of where we're visiting far more schools now to deliver cycle awareness. So what initiatives are we going to be looking at for the 17th of November to the 23rd? Well, as a fundamental message that we have for all our employees, irrespective of what part of the organisation that they work in, we have 12 UK safety essentials. And if we, as an individual within our organisation, if we follow all 12 of these principles, hopefully we will remain free from injury. Recently, when we reviewed ours, the look after yourself and each other elements of that was down the bottom, not at the top. So we reviewed our own safety essentials and moved that very key element to the top of the list. And as part of Road Safety Week, which is promoting looking out for each other, we will extend that, our #1 safety essential, and we'll focus it towards not just looking after ourselves and each other within our work environment, but to the broader transport environment. So we're going to be taking that and extracting that as one of the initiatives we'll be promoting during that week. Likewise, we're definitely going to target a number of schools, which we've had success in the past, and we've certainly honed our how we go into schools. We go into the classroom now and we present topics on the Green Cross Code, You and Your Bike. We've got a video about Susie's story, which is about a tragic event involving a fatal incident with a cyclist, and then we talk about sharing the road with LGVs. And then we take what the children particularly enjoy. We take them out and get them in the cab, and we highlight the blind spots, etc. That some vehicles may have. A walking tour of that. So that's very positive, and we will certainly endeavour to do some of those during that particular week. And as usual, I'm sure there'll be a number of organisations, including the MPA and the FTA, which will be supporting Road Safety Week, and we will provide a vehicle resource and a driver to one of those events. And we're also considering doing something differently, where we might put some drivers and managers on the bikes in London to give them an alternative experience, and hopefully our drivers will recognise what it's like to be a cyclist and appreciate the factors and the challenges that these vulnerable road users face, and it might help them continue the culture of sharing the roads with vulnerable road users. So just coming to the end now, last couple of slides. We generally have a 5-tiered approach to Road Safety Week. Obviously our ultimate goal is improving road safety. So how do we do that? Well, let's look at educating and training our drivers and subcontractors, improving their driver training and awareness. We like to look to if we can collaborate within the industry. I've mentioned Loughborough University, but Rossborough FTA, MPA and others, and look to getting within our communities and local authorities, and then obviously raising awareness at cycling events, exchanging places that I've just mentioned. And once again, it gives us an opportunity to look at our vehicle specifications and see if it's still fulfilling the things that we need it to do. So finally, just to summarise, let's use the week to reinforce key messages within your organisations, an opportunity to deliver new initiatives, and then, as we have, we've embedded it into our annual safety plan, and it's an opportunity to try something new and be brave. And that, Dave's the end of my presentation.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Rob, for that. That's a brilliant presentation and very interesting, I think, looking at both how you can get involved to benefit both the staff and obviously the impact on the community as well. So it's hopefully that's given plenty of you ideas of how to get involved. So thanks again, Rob. Like I say, if people can save questions to the end, and once we've listened to all the speakers, we will go through any questions. So if you have any questions for Rob or for any of our other speakers, then feel free to use the question box on your screen or raise hand, and we'll go to these at the end. So next we have Nicola Livesley from Balfour Beatty, and we will now pass over to Nicola, and hopefully we can now see her screen, which we can. And Nicola, it's over to you. Thank you.
Great. Hello everyone, my name is Nicola. I work for Balfour Beatty. I work in the communications team, and I've been involved with Brakes Road Safety Week for 4 years. We do Road Safety Week on behalf of Connect Roads, which is part of the Balfour Beatty group, and they operate and maintain 5 different roads in the UK, from Glasgow, as you can see, down to Exeter in the southwest. Our top priority is road worker safety. We employ lots of guys who were out on the road all the time, and as a result of a director's safety visit where the directors go onto the concessions and speak to the guys about how we can make their job more safe, one of the top comments was that the public don't necessarily understand the job they do, and unfortunately sometimes don't respect the job they do, and may come through roadworks. Occasionally they have things thrown at them, they sometimes get abuse. So we thought, how can we affect road user behaviour and make their job safer? And Road Safety Week came up about 4 years ago, and we decided to get out there and go and do some events during Road Safety Week and target them around looking after our road workers. So I'm just going to show you what we did last year in our Digimag. Just open that. So it's convenient that we've got 5 concessions and there's 5 days in the week. So we target an event at each of our concessions and spend the week going around the country speaking to members of the public. So last year we went to all of these places that you can see. We set up a Twitter account last year, which was the first time that we'd done that. And we started tweeting a couple of weeks ahead of all the events. We got the places that we're going to tweet as well. So, for example, we were at a Tesco supermarket down in Dorset. In Glasgow, we were at 2 different colleges. In Carlisle, we were at a college and then an Asda supermarket. In Wetherby, we were at the big service station there. And at the A50 near Derby, we were at a McDonald's and a service station. So we would tweet to the venues, and they retweeted for us to raise a bit of awareness in advance that we were going to be down there. We also tweeted on the day, tweeted out facts about road workers, things about road safety in general, and other little bits and bobs, and encouraged people to retweet. This guy here is Ron the road worker, who's our road safety mascot. So here's a little blog about the different things that we did on each day. What we did this year is we asked people to hold up a board which said supporting road worker safety. Then we would take a picture and then tweet it, copy their name in, and then get them hopefully to retweet. This was really popular actually. People really enjoyed having their pictures taken, and people who were on Twitter already, mostly kind of the younger people, but they all retweeted it for us, and we got lots of shares and some good coverage from that. We also handed out ice scrapers, which had our road safety message on there, just saying watch out for Ron, take care at roadworks, that kind of thing. So that was just a freebie we handed out to people. It was also a chance to stop people and just have a chat with them generally about road safety. We often would just ask them, have you heard it's Road Safety Week this week? And lots of people had already seen things on the news that morning, so it was nice just to chat to people about things like that. We tried to join up with people where we could. So in Glasgow there were some fire officers down there. We had a road safety representative from the local government in Derby, and we also get some of our guys down to all of the events who come down in their full safety gear, and they're there to chat to people as well, which is always quite good because people often stop to chat about the local roads. They sometimes have questions for them. So this is a little leaflet that we handed out, which I've got in more detail on a slide, which I can show you in a minute. And here's our ice scraper and some of the other bits of freebies we give out. Now that we've been doing it, last year was our 4th year, we realised that we've actually handed out 10,000 ice scrapers around the country now, which is quite a big number. The idea of the ice scraper is that it will be something that people can just keep in their car, hopefully for a year or more even. And so every time that they go to clean their windscreen, they'll be reminded to drive more safely at roadworks. We've also promoted our message internally last year on our company intranet by setting up a site which had a Twitter feed. It listed all of our events for people, photos, that kind of thing, just to get Balfour Beatty staff internally spreading the message a bit wider. You can see there, zero harm, you may not know what that term means, is a safety initiative that Balfour Beatty has been running for quite a few years now. So our objectives were to raise awareness of road worker safety, incorporate Break's message into our safety promotions, use our Twitter feed, and hopefully raise awareness of road worker safety to the road users at each of the locations that we went to. We also targeted young drivers on the concessions where younger drivers may be more of an issue than others. So, go back to the presentation. So this was one of the handouts that we made. So if you can just imagine that it was a kind of concertina little leaflet. So this is just the flat PDF version, but we thought that it would be good to do some promotion around why people might speed up at roadworks. We thought that it probably isn't because, you know, they're bad people. It's just because they're probably in a bit of a rush. We have had incidences of where people may want to get from one part of a road to another more quickly. They don't want to take the diversions. So people have before actually stopped their cars, removed the roadworks and driven straight through them. And that's probably just because they're in a rush, they've left the house too late, could be for lots of different reasons. But so we put together a little timeline of things that may happen to make you behave like that when you get to roadworks, and together with some facts about road workers and the job that they get up to. One problem we found is that people don't really understand what road workers do all day, and before I started working for Balfour Beatty I didn't really know what road maintenance involved at all. So we tried to just pop on a little bit of information there just so that people actually understand that, you know, they're there for people's safety, and their safety is dependent on people driving safely around them. It's a very dangerous environment for them to be working in all day. We then created this one, which was targeted at younger drivers, and this was along the same lines but a little bit more targeted towards the things that young drivers might be distracted by, so mobile phones, smoking, using multitasking at the wheel, that kind of thing. So we gave these out in colleges in Carlisle and Glasgow. In previous years, we've also done a few things such as asking people to make pledges, so getting them to stop writing a pledge on a little card, and then we've maybe let them enter a competition or have a go in a lucky dip in return or something like that. We also made up these boards, which were the point of these was to try and make the road worker more real and personal to the people walking by, rather than just somebody at the side of the road in safety gear. So we profiled the guys, got them to give a message out to people, but also got them to tell the public something about themselves. So, you know, they might have a family of 2 and they might enjoy playing sport at the weekend or walking their dog, or something that made them a face rather than just somebody standing at the side of the road. We also made a video, this was a couple of years ago now, which was quite similar to the Twitter idea, but this time we took little video clips. We had 6 different boards which had different safety pledges, and people could pick which safety pledge applied most to them. And then we took a little video clip of them holding up their pledge, and then, go back to there, and then at the end we popped it all together into a couple of minute video which we put onto YouTube. And so all of these pledges are something that follows on from when I'm approaching roadworks. So I'll just play this little video that we made a few years ago to see the variety of people that we met during the week as well. Yeah, I think what was really successful about doing that video was when faced with the options of choosing between those different pledges, people would look at them and say, oh, yeah, no, I do that one, or I'm definitely guilty of doing that one. So it made them think about what what their bad driving habits were. So this year, we are really pleased about Break's theme, Look Out for Each Other. It ties in really nicely with looking out for our road workers. We've started to plan, again, we're going to be targeting specific road users at each of our locations. We've spoken to our maintenance guys this year, so we're really thinking about where can we find those people, how can we let them know we're coming in advance, how best would they respond to our message. So we'd be targeting things like, for example, on the A50 road, we're looking at targeting HGV drivers, whereas on a road like the Carlisle Northern Development Route, we'll probably be looking at young drivers and motorcyclists. Then at the A30, A35 in Devon, we're going to be looking at targeting older drivers. So we're going to have to plan quite different events for each of those 5 days. So that could be, it's a fun challenge to get stuck into, to think about how we can really get to those road users. The Highways Agency have got a safety campaign on at the moment, which is really good because that will follow in nicely to Break's Road Safety Week in November. Their safety campaign is also around road workers, so hopefully that will start raising some awareness and that will stick in people's minds by the time we get to them. We're thinking about maybe doing some Twitter competitions. Our Twitter was quite successful last year, so just about how we can spread the message wider via Twitter, and we've got a bit more of a following now. And also looking at engaging our own employees to help us spread the message a bit more. We haven't really done that yet, so we're thinking about maybe running some competitions or some campaigns to encourage our employees to go out and spread the message. And that's it from me.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Nicola. That's really helpful and really useful, especially the use of social media there. This year, Break, we will be using social media a lot to promote everything that you're doing and also what we've got going on across the country. So I think that's a brilliant example of how Twitter, Facebook, Vines, infographics, videos, social media as a whole can be used as a great tool to promote what businesses are doing and obviously link in with Break as well. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So next we'll go to Christine Hamilton from Brain Injury Group. And hi, Christine.
Hi, hello.
Brilliant. So we will now pass over to Christine and thank you for talking.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Rob and Nicola. The stuff that you're up to is quite impressive. But just to explain, the Brain Injury Group has been involved with Road Safety Week for several years now, and we were one of the key sponsors a couple of years ago when I think the theme was 20's Plenty, around schools in particular. And whilst I understand that this webinar is ostensibly directed at corporate bodies, I'll very quickly explain that it's not difficult for us, the Brain Injury Group, to get behind this initiative because we've only got a handful of staff. Our challenge is to get the network members of the group to support the campaign and to get actively involved as well. So let's get the initial stuff going and tell you who and what the Brain Injury Group is. We're a national network of dedicated brain injury lawyers and other professional services. We provide a gateway to support, information and advice for brain injured people, their families and their carers. We've currently got about 40 law firms, about 15 associate members and a whole heap of people who are listed through our directory that can be accessed via our website. Our members have access to a broad range of services, including case managers, family coordinators, financial advisors, and they can get guidance on welfare, benefits, and statutory funding. And the common bond in our unique service basically combines the best of legal expertise in head injury cases with an extensive range of other professionals, all of whom have a vital role to play in the support and rehabilitation of brain-injured people, their families and their carers. So why Road Safety Week? Well, in many respects, I guess it's common sense. Something like 50% of traumatic brain injuries are caused by road traffic accidents, including cars and trucks and motorbikes hitting each other, hitting cyclists, or hitting pedestrians. Because our member firms encounter a wide range of brain-injured people, a high proportion of those people have incurred their injury as the result of a road crash. Because our member firms are specialists in brain injuries, and they absolutely understand the impact, that's physical, emotional and financial, that head and brain injuries can have on both individuals and families. And because their expertise stems from working with people whose injuries are considered the fault of a third party, which indicates that many of those accidents could have been prevented by more careful driving or greater awareness of the environment. And because our members absolutely appreciate all of those effects, they're as keen to reduce the occurrence of accidents as much as anybody else. They're very passionate about the field that they work in, but they'd actually still prefer that we could prevent as many accidents as possible. So how do we get involved in encouraging people to get involved? What we've got to do is make it as easy as possible, basically. What we're talking about here in the last few years is getting our firms to be involved with local schools and in their communities to spread the word about road safety. And what we've done isn't rocket science. We've gone out to local primary schools. We've invited them to take part in painting competitions about road safety with 1 or 2 classes within the school. We've encouraged them to use the break resources for things like beep beep days, so that the painting competition is just part of a road safety awareness activity. And a couple of pictures of our campaigns from last year. The resources that we are helping to provide, as I say, I've mentioned already highlighting the Break Zone online resources which are excellent, so that the schools can develop their own activities. Our member firms then get involved in judging competition entries and awarding prizes. They have been involved once or twice in presentations as well on actual safety, but we tend to wait to be called on by the schools if they want some additional input. We've provided the schools with words and introductions for their own websites, and we've used Break's resources again to pull together regional press releases that help to promote the involvement of both the schools and our members in the area. We provide posters and prizes, and we fund those. Clearly we use our own website, and we have a dedicated page on our own website to promote Road Safety Week. And we do use the ubiquitous social media before, during and after the campaign week to promote everyone's commitment and involvement in the campaign. One of the things that we did last year was to undertake some research which was able to then form the basis of the news story that we were able to hang our involvement on. That research was taken amongst 8 to 11-year-olds, and it showed an alarmingly high number of children were prepared to risk crossing the road without using a zebra crossing or waiting for lights to change in their favour. The same children also dropped the grown-ups in the doodah quite a bit by telling us that every one of their parents was distracted on or around roads by using their mobiles, either whilst driving or walking with their children along busy streets. And the vast majority would also smoke, eat or drink behind the wheel. These findings gave us the statistics that we needed to use in our own web content and in the press releases to promote our involvement. This year we're trying a little variation on a theme, and we're looking to hitch a ride along the celebrity selfie continuum. We're approaching a number of high-profile individuals who are known to use their bikes a lot. Some are sports people, others are more broadly classed as celebrities. We're asking them to decorate real-life cycling helmets that have been donated. We're asking them to send us a selfie of them wearing their helmets and then to return the helmets to us so that we can auction them ultimately to raise funds to support BRAKE's future activities. We'll be using social media to ask people to guess who designed which helmet before promoting the selfies during Road Safety Week itself, all of which will help us to promote the road safety message through our member firms, both amongst their own staff and within their own communities. We're connecting with local schools again, and we're asking their pupils to get involved with another road safety themed creative competition, but this time we're promoting them with a paper template of a cycling helmet, mostly because we'd otherwise have to find about 500 cycling helmets, and we're asking them to decorate it, and our members will get involved again in judging and awarding prizes. The key, as I said earlier, is for us to make things as easy as possible, both for the members who get involved and for the schools, so that we will make the most of the connections that our member firms already have and contact schools to set up the activity for them. We'll provide the information for the schools' websites, we're providing the design templates they need, and the posters and the prizes, and we also provide fluorescent snap bands with our own branding and a safety message for all of the children who are taking part. As a group, we know what happens when people get hurt in road traffic accidents, because our members deal with the devastating consequences on a daily basis, and that experience has made them experts in their field. By partnering with member firms in local communities, clearly we're hoping to raise the profile of both the network and the member firm so that people know where to go to for information and support if they need it, as well as spread the road safety message. Cemex and Balfour Beatty have highlighted how they're addressing safety issues, and every one of us would prefer that people didn't need to make claims, but however hard we try, accidents will continue to happen, and expert advice will continue to have value. Our member firms have had to demonstrate their expertise and meet some stringent criteria to be able to join the group, and have to abide by a set of principles. So being a member of the brain injury group is equivalent to having a quality kite mark. It indicates a depth of expertise and high quality specialist advice not readily available elsewhere. So let's take a look at the sort of results we can expect. Last year we worked with 5 of our member firms directly within their communities, and a couple of others were happy to do their own thing. When the campaign launched, it was a busy day, the busiest on the big website to that point. It was a busy week in the ether as we promoted all of the member firms and all of the schools taking part in the whole campaign. As you can see on the slide, an awful lot of people shared the information, retweeted the messages, and we reckon their conservative estimate puts us reaching over 50,000 people. We achieved some regional press coverage as well for 3 of those firms and the schools, and all of the schools obviously featured the campaigns heavily on their own websites. We've just got a couple of things here where we've got one of our members promoting the activity on their own website. We've got some of the Twitter feed activity going on there, and we've also got one of the schools that took part last year and is very keen to take part again this year. So the sort of resources we're providing for people this year, we are busy at the moment making those connections between member firms and schools, and we're looking to provide very similar resources. We are providing information for websites. We are providing printed design templates so that the schools have to do as little as possible to get the message out to the pupils that they're involving. We're going to be providing posters and balloons so that they can have their own display in classrooms. We will provide, again, prizes and snap bands for all of the children who take part. We will be providing a press release, and we will be out there on social media going nuts with pictures of people wearing cycle helmets. Targets. we're contacting just about everybody we know who may have a connection to somebody that they can class as a celebrity cyclist, and we're busy making connections right now. We're hoping that we'll have something between 10 and 20 celebrity selfies to promote via social media, and we're hoping that not only will this give a big boost to the visibility of the campaign as a whole, but it'll also provide the encouragement and the inspiration to the school children who will be getting involved too. We're looking for 10 to 12 member firms to be actively involved with their local communities and their local schools. We've already got 10 firms that said they want to get involved, so we're busy making sure that we can tie them up with schools close to them, which means that there could be anything between 300 and 500 children directly involved in designing or decorating a cycling helmet, depending on whether the schools involve 1 or 2 classes. Obviously, we're hoping to see some major spikes in our own web traffic and Twitter traffic as the message goes out there. Our online contacts are quite extensive, and certainly our Twitter followers include medical and social care professionals, a huge number of charities that have a very strong level of support, as well as the friends and families of brain injured people, and all of those people usually will support the activities that we are involved in and will get behind it, and hopefully thousands and thousands and thousands more than last year will see the messages that are going out there. We would hope to achieve some regional press coverage again, and what we're intending to do with our celebrity helmets is to organise some kind of auction after the campaign where we can raise funds to support BRAKE's activities going forward into the future. The bottom line is that we're all out there reinforcing the messages to ask road users, to ask children, to ask everybody to be aware of their environment and to be aware of everybody else on the road, around the road, and it's not just on the road. As we know, there's an awful lot of things happen with pedestrians and people in that general environment, so the look out for each other is a perfect theme once again. My contact details are here. I'm more than happy to speak to anybody directly, but for the moment I will hand back to Dave.
Great, thank you very much, Christine. I think that, again, that's a really interesting presentation to see how another angle on how somebody else has got involved with Road Safety Week and BRAKE. And obviously Brain Injury Group has a very similar reasons for being involved as ourselves, and as Christine mentioned there, they're quite a small setup in terms of staff, but they obviously work nationally and have big ambitions and aims. So I think if there's any companies or anybody listening in today who has any celebrity contacts or people that they work with through their business, and you might be able to help Christine and with the celeb helmet idea, then it'd be great if you can get in touch with Christine or get in touch with a member of BRAKE staff, and we'll be able to put you in touch so you can actually help get involved with their celeb helmet idea, which I think sounds a fantastic idea. So we're at the end now of our presentations. We've heard from all 4 speakers, but before we finish, just checking if there's any questions. If anybody has any questions, like I said previously, if you'd like to either raise your hand by clicking the raise hand button on your screen, or type a question into the question box, and I can put that to any of our speakers. But at the moment we don't seem to have any questions from anybody listening in today, which is brilliant, and obviously means that everybody's covered everything that you want to know. I will just go through a few things whilst giving you the opportunity to type in any questions if you do have any. So after this webinar, later on today, we will send you all out an email with a feedback form. If you could please just take a few minutes to fill that in and let us know about this webinar and how useful you found it. Also, we can send you the presentation from today. We've recorded it, so we can send it to you. So if for any reason you've managed to dial in and not been able to see the presentation but being able to listen in and hear us, we'll be able to send that to you so you can look back through it, or even share it with your managers or bosses if you need to maybe share ideas with them and show what other companies are doing, and maybe you can use it to ignite some enthusiasm with the other members of staff. Also, we can send you links to how to get signed up with Road Safety Week, so you can log into our Road Safety Week page and look at how to get involved and be able to get a resource pack from ourselves. Also, likewise, if you need to get in touch with anybody at Break, many of you might already be working with us and have contact a member of staff, but if not, when we send out the information, our contact details will be on there. So if you have any questions about either today's presentations, or if you have any questions at all about Road Safety Week, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And the more ideas and the more communication we all have together, then obviously the greater success we can make Road Safety Week in November. Just having another look to see if anybody has entered any questions, and we have a few questions that have come in whilst I've been talking away, so bear with me a second. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just trying to read the questions. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble actually reading the questions, so I will go to the individual people who have expressed interest in asking a question, and you'll be able to ask the question in person. So first of all, we've got David Reed. So hello, David. I've unmuted you, so hopefully you'll be able to talk now. Sorry, David, what was your question?
I was actually just thanking you for the presentations. They were really good, good food for thought. A brief question on the Pledge Training Day. Where do I go to find out information on how to get on that webinar? I haven't spotted that.
Yeah, bear with me a second. I'll let my colleague Ellie answer that one.
Thank you.
Hi, so the webinar is on the 16th next week. When we send your emails out after today's webinar, we'll be able to put some information in about that, and then if you want us to sign you up for it, you'll just need to email us back and we'll get you all sorted and signed up for it.
Excellent, thank you.
No
okay,
problem.
thank you, David. And we have another question coming here. Unfortunately, like I say, I can't see them, so I'm going to have to unmute you. So we've got Mr. Patel from Pannoni. Hi, can you hear us? No. And finally, we've got Laura Estonia from Pannoni as well. Hi Laura, I've unmuted yourself. Do you have a question for our panel? Nope. So with technology working as well as it is, unfortunately we can't hear from either of those member staff. But if you do have any questions after today, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us, and we can forward those questions to any of our speakers today, or hopefully somebody at Break can help. So thank you very much once again for attending today's webinar. Hopefully you found it useful, and it's given you plenty of great ideas on how to get involved, both through engaging your business and obviously the local community that you work in. And thank you once again for attending, and hopefully we will speak to you all soon. Thanks again. Bye.